Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, we're going to take a look at Joe Gardner from the Soul series. And Joe Gardner is an interesting one because along with 22, Joe Gardner is one of the first Tsums that's been introduced into the game from the Soul series. So that's pretty interesting. And the ability description for Joe Gardner is clears a diagonal line of Tsums. I'm currently playing Joe Gardner at skill level 1, so the skill range is going to be extra small. But let's first take a look at the stats. If you do want to activate Joe Gardner's ability, you will need to get a total of 16 copies of him on the screen. So that's not too bad. I would say this is about average, so pretty decent for activating abilities. The minimum score is 210 with a maximum score of 896. Nothing too amazing there for score. I wouldn't necessarily use Joe Gardner for score or anything like that, but maybe for this month's event, if you need a Tsum that gets you a decent amount of score, then Joe Gardner is an okay option for that. If you do want to get Joe Gardner to skill level 6, you will need to get a total of 32 copies of him in the premium box. And let's take a look at the ability chart. Every ability that you go up, or the skill level you go up, the skill range is going to get bigger and bigger. At skill level 1 it's extra small, then it goes up to small, medium, large, and then extra large. And the ability that, the skill range that it's describing, the extra small and small, medium, that part, is describing the thickness of the little line that goes through diagonally. And if you take a look at the screen here in terms of the clear area, the diagonal line isn't necessarily from the top left to the bottom right, it's still in the center area. So one of the strategy that you want to use is before you activate the ability, you want to make sure that the center area where the diagonal is coming across has a lot of Tsums before you activate it. Because the more Tsums you have, the more coins you're going to get, and also the larger the chain. Another way to play Joe Gardner is have the gyro turned on, and with the gyro turned on, you could tilt your phone towards the left hand side so the Tsums fall down diagonally on the left hand side. This will allow you to clear a lot more Tsums quicker. But what I also want to show you guys is a side-by-side comparison between skill level 1, 2, and 3. And keep in mind that the major difference here between skill level 1, 2, and 3 is the skill range only, and nothing else changes. For skill level 1, it's extra small, skill level 2 is small, and skill level 3 is medium. Now overall, I think Joe Gardner is a pretty fun Tsum to use, and it's a really easy Tsum to use for beginners. So if you are relatively new to the game and got Joe Gardner, congratulations. It's a pretty decent Tsum for a beginner. The strategy to using Joe Gardner is relatively simple. All you need to do is just make sure that there are Tsums in the center area before you activate the ability. Another thing you could do is you could keep some bubbles around, and the bubbles that you clear will speed up some of the clears, but that's pretty standard in terms of how you would clear Tsums. Now the big question is, will we ever get Joe Gardner as a soul? I think that would be pretty interesting and pretty cool to have. I think that will be a really good addition into the Soul series. And if we're not going to get Joe Gardner into the game as a soul, what other characters do you think that will be good to add to the game from the Soul series? I personally would really like to see Joe Gardner added in as a soul. And if you think that we're going to get Joe Gardner as a soul, what would be a really cool ability you think for him? Unfortunately, as of right now, Joe Gardner is not available as a soul even in the Japanese version, meaning that it's unlikely that we're going to get Joe Gardner as a soul in the next year. What we've noticed as a trend is that we typically get these Tsums released to us a year later after it comes out in the Japanese version. So for example, Joe Gardner and also 22 came out last year exactly this time in December for the Japanese version. So I'm hoping that we get Joe Gardner as a soul eventually. I think that would be really cool. But if not, let me know in the comments below what's another cool Tsum to get from the movie Soul. But anyways, comparing Joe Gardner to 22, 22 is actually the better one out of the two. So if you are going to try to collect one of the two souls, you definitely want to try to shoot for 22 over Joe Gardner. But that's just my opinion. Maybe you could use Joe Gardner better than I do. What I also want to show you is the ability activated at the same time, so that way you can really see what is going on with Joe Gardner's ability. And typically when I do this, it's helpful to see this slowed down. So what I'm going to do is slow this down and then really dissect his animation. So you have Joe Gardner pop out here, and this is a scene from the beginning of the movie where he's playing the piano. and then popping a bunch of tsums diagonally here. Now I do have a question for those of you that play the piano. If you are playing the game with the sound on, you'll hear some notes that are coming through the speakers. Are those sounds exactly the same notes that he's playing on the screen here? I'm really curious. So if you do play the piano, let me know if those notes matches with what you're hearing as the sound. But anyways, what I want to show you here as well is the thickness of the clear. As I mentioned previously, skill level 1 is an extra small clear, skill level 2 is a small, and skill level 3 is a medium. You could clearly tell from skill level 3 and skill level 1 that there is a big difference. For skill level 3, you're looking at anywhere between 3 to 4 rows worth of tsums there, but for skill level 1, you see some areas that only have 2, so it's like a 2 to 3. And at skill level 2, you're looking at pretty consistently 3 rows worth of tsums. Sometimes it gets into that 4 area, so that's where the differences are. Now for skill level 1, I was able to get a total of 21 chain. Skill level 2, I got a chain of 24, and skill level 3, I got a chain of 27. All 3 of which are wonderful clears. For a tsum that is skill level 1, 2, and 3, this is not bad. It's actually pretty good in terms of how many chains that you're going to get, especially the skill level 3. It's relatively impressive for a low level tsum. Now I'm also going to fast forward the gameplay here to the very end and show you my coin earning potential. At the end of these 3 gameplays for skill level 1, I ended up with 1,195 coins. Joe at skill level 2, I got 1,398 coins. And finally at skill level 3, I got 1,642 coins. So as you could tell, none of them broke the 2,000 mark. I wouldn't necessarily consider Joe a good coin earner at skill level 1, 2, and 3. I really do like his animation, and I think it does really bring me back to a scene in the movie, so I think that part is good. But in terms of his functionality in this game, it's really not great and really not worth it to spend your coins and skill ticket on Joe Gardner. So that's my review for Joe Gardner. I hope you guys found this video helpful or at least entertaining. And if you did, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more Tsum Tsum content just like this and haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more Tsum Tsum content. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.